Hi, welcome to Kika. I am Michelangelo Barques. Today being Monday the 15th, I believe. Today's lesson is I'm just going to go over the different forms of sequencing. Now, I know I did a video on sequencing in 5s and 6, and I know I also did a sequencing in 2, 3s, and 4s. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to demonstrate one mode, one pattern, and maybe up to the G string or the D string, depending on which one we do. And we're going to figure out how many different forms of sequencing there are. Because I had this email that asked me, how many different forms of sequencing there are. And remember, please leave me your name and stating that I can say your name over the air. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm going to be taking this in the key of G, and we're going to be taking the third position, which is Phrygian. Because this would be Ionian, this would be Dorian, and this would be Phrygian. As you can see, my fingers aren't as warmed up as I want them to be, but the show must go on. So, one of the not so popular forms of sequencing would be 2s. I don't know why. I use this sometimes, but 2 seems to be the least popular one. So here's 2s. Again. Noticing I'm going to go 1, 2, and whatever is my second note, it's going to be my next 1, 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright. The next form of sequencing, I would say it's pretty popular. It's not as popular as maybe 4s, but it's still very popular. I mean, you hear it in almost 80s, in almost every 80s solo. From Vinnie Moore to Yngwie to any guitar player you can think of in the 80s. They did this. This sequencing is called thirds. So unlike 2s, where we're only moving in 2 notes, in thirds we're going to be moving 3 notes, and then making your second note to 1. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, make the second note to 1, 1, 2, 3, and continue from there. Again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this next form of sequencing is by far the most popular one, fourths. Why is it as popular as it is? I don't know, but I love fourths. I use fourths all the time in my soloing. It's just something about hearing your notes going over and over and escalating from a little tiny snowball to a huge snowball, and then ending the sequencing with a lick. Yeah. Alright, so fourths is we're going to move 4 notes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then whatever is the second note, we're going to turn that into a 1. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, these next two aren't as maybe popular as your 3s or your 4s, but they do get a little respect more than the 2s. I'm talking about sequencing in 5s and in 6. Although, I must admit, 5s and 6 aren't used in your modern heavy metal or or even in grunge. 5s and 6 are mostly used in classical music. You can hear it in Mozart, Paganini, Chopin, Ludwig van Beethoven. You hear it in a lot of classical music. And, well, here's 5. And then finally on the sequencing scale, there's 6, where we would literally move 6 notes and then make the second note the 1. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wherever that second note is, we're going to take that second note and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you can see, once you start doing sequencing, maybe from 6 up, maybe 6, 7, 8, your fretboard or your leverage gets a little bit smaller because you're eating a lot of your fretboard up. So again, oh, I definitely do like 6. I do prefer maybe my 3rds or my 4ths, but for the, I guess you could say for the classical sequencing, I definitely like 5 because it has that almost classical ring to it. But I definitely love 6 because 6 just it has that in its sequencing. Now notice I only went up to the G string. Now once you practice this and get used to this, first you start slow with the 2s. Wow. That took forever. Once you get used to that, you move on to your 3rds. want to attempt the 5s and the 6. And then of course 6. Now, you might be wondering, okay, so I'm practicing these different forms of sequencing. How do I use them? Well, you can use them in forms of runs. You know, like or you can use them as to get involved with a different leg. See? Or you can just use them as you feel as you see fit. There's many uses for these sequencing, and the reason why I keep showing them over the air is because I want to introduce to you these forms of sequencing, because nowadays music is a normally down tune, and it just go like this. That's it. I mean, you know, no creativity, no little complications with the right hand. Everything is like that. That's why I prefer 80s music, like Metallica. But anyway, that's why I show you, my students, many different forms of sequencing, because I want to, if anything, just to expose you, to let you know that they're out there, and they're out there for the taking. You just have to, you know, want it that much. And in fact, when I first learned sequencing in 5s and sequencing in 6, it was hard. I had to remember maybe playing 5 notes, and then remember to go back one, and until I discovered that there is actually a pattern to that, and that pattern is this. Then the sequencing got a little easier. Even sequencing 6, you might think that there wasn't any particular forms of sequencing when it comes to 6. But there is. Okay, my time is up. So, homework 1. Master sequencing in 2s. Doesn't matter what mode. Homework 2. Once you master sequencing in 2s, utilize it in your soloing. Okay, that was 3s, but you can still use 2. Well, 2 might be a little miku, but it's still an awesome form of sequencing, just like 4, 6. It's just so awesome to be able to do that. And when you're live on stage and you're going, okay, my time's really running out. Homework 3. Once you've mastered sequencing in 2s, move on to the next one, sequencing in 3. Homework 4. Master sequencing in 4. Homework 5. Master sequencing in 5s. And then homework 6. Master sequencing in 6. One, two, three, four, five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just in case you thought I was cheating. I know sometimes my fingers get the better of me, and I might sound like I'm doing something that I'm not. And so that's why I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you saw, I was doing 6. Alright. Well, anyway, this is Michelangelo. If you want to get a hold of me, contact me through down here. I normally get my notifications almost immediately. Or, if not, you can write me at my email at SocratesBestFriend@yahoo.com. That's SOCRATES bestfriend@yahoo.com. And you may have noticed that I'm not using Socrates. I'm actually using my Martin. Well, Socrates, he's sleeping, and guitar gotta sleep too. Anyway, I'm about 20 minutes. So this is Michelangelo. Hope you have a great day, and remember, I want to see your name in lights.